Hey you guys, welcome back on another episode of Smiley Said It. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the movie O.
His name is Odin James, but everyone calls him O. A star player, in love with the most popular girl in school.
This year's unanimous choice.
Also known as Othello, from the adaptation of Shakespeare's play. This movie is such a classic because it really brings back some nostalgic memories. When I first watched O, I was younger, and obviously I didn't know much about William Shakespeare. So let's start with the opening. The movie stars Julia Stiles, who plays Desi, Josh Hartnett, who plays Hugo, Mekhi Phifer, who plays Odin, aka O, Andrew Keegan plays Michael, Rain Phoenix plays Emily, and Alden Henson plays Roger. These are our main key characters in the film. Odin is Mekhi Phifer, and he's dating Julia Stiles, who is white. Now, you can only imagine what comes with that when it comes to back in the day. Remember, this movie came out in 2001. At the time, he's this kid who had a troubling upbringing. The coach is Hugo's dad, and he doesn't give Hugo any breaks whatsoever. This man is like, yeah, you're my son, but I'm going to treat you like everybody else, and I'm going to be even harder on you because you're my son. And Hugo acted like he was this privileged dweeb who just wanted attention and was jealous of O. They played on a basketball team called the Hawks. O gets the MVP, and he gives the second MVP award to Michael, which Hugo didn't like because he felt like he played just as much as a good game. I mean, that can be subjective, but if O was given the MVP award, it was up for him to decide who he played the best beside, on court. So when the coach was giving his speech, he was like, oh yeah, oh, you're like the son that I never had. Hugo, being in the audience as his son, he felt some type of way. And later on, Hugo talks about why he was mad. And he's like, he picked a sophomore over a senior. Like, what the hell? Hugo wanted to break up Desi and O so that Desi could be with Roger, his friend. Now Roger, he played in The Butterfly Effect. Roger likes Desi. Desi is with O. Hugo's like, oh, say less, I can break all this up. And Hugo tries to break up Desi and O by pretty much sabotaging Roger in the process just to get to O. So Hugo comes up with this horrible idea and has Roger call Desi's father and acts like she's being assaulted by O of some sort. And the next day, O gets called into the office and he's approached by Desi's father. The coach is in the office as well. And he's like, did you touch my daughter? Did you do anything inappropriate with her? And he's like, no, I didn't do anything to her. I love her. Like, I would never do that. In this meeting, Desi's dad finds out that they're dating, and they have been dating for 4 months.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? How long?
4 months.
4 months.
He lets it slide because Desi pretty much let it be known, like, no, he didn't do anything to me. Like, he would never do that. So he drops it. But what Desi's dad told O, he was like, oh, you might want to be careful with her because if she can lie to me, she can be deceitful to you. Now, what father would do that? Yeah, can you imagine though? Like, she's hiding her black boyfriend from her dad. Like, I can see that, right? We can all see that. But yeah, of course O didn't take any heed of it. He's like, whatever, I love her and I would never do that to her and I will respect your daughter. And boy, oh boy, did he eat those words.
You do not want to get in trouble out here. This is Trump everything.
Hugo decided to get juiced up by homeboy from the Players Club in Friday. I'm like, I know he's not in charge of being the drug dealer for these kids. Like
This is ghetto.
He gave Hugo some steroids so he can gain respect from his dad.
Daddy, watch me twirl. Daddy, watch
And he warns him, he's like, you don't want to keep doing this. Not for basketball. Like, it's not that serious. Hugo is like, it is serious. Like, I need to gain the respect from my dad, and he's paying too much attention to O. So pretty much he's like acting like a bratty, like, stepchild. Like, he's literally acting like a bratty stepchild. It is so weird to see. And his jealousy got the best of him. Like, Hugo didn't have just jealousy towards O. He had vengeance. Like, the dude had envy all up through his soul. And O being black and coming from a troubled, upbringing was like, this kid doesn't deserve none of this. I do. I'm the coach's son. I'm a white kid. I go to a predominant, nice school. This kid doesn't deserve none of that, let alone a white girlfriend. And I'm going to take all of that away from him. Like, Hugo was on a mission, okay? The vengeance is mine. The adaptation of this being from a Shakespeare play and putting it in this setting that it has was actually pretty smart. And it gelled pretty smoothly. Like, I really, really liked the movie. So in the next scene, O gives Desi a scarf, an heirloom from his great-grandmother, I believe it was. And he basically was crashing out. This is where he started crashing out for me. And in the room is Emily, who's Desi's friend. Emily is a hater. As O creeps in the window, this kid gave her an 100-year-old scarf that was from his great-grandmother that was passed to him. His mother gave him that scarf when she was dying of cancer. And he gives it to Desi as his way of expressing his love for her. And he should have never gave it to her in front of Emily, because Emily does some foul shit later on with that scarf. And I'm going to tell you what that is. He's like, I feel like we are already family. But you know what? Emily honestly had valid reasons to kind of like side-eye their relationship, because again, they were only together for 4 months. And if I had a friend that decided to date somebody after 4 months and receive all these gifts, I would just consider it to be love bombing, which to me is a very telling way of someone like manipulating you to get you to pretty much be theirs. Like, you're young, like you don't need to commit to anything so serious that young, let alone that soon of dating. But that's just my opinion.
Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors.
That's just my opinion. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm a single girl in a single world. Now things start to get a little bit heated, a little bit juicy, because they decided taking each other's clothes off. They were topless mostly. They just like to cuddle topless. They like skin to skin touch, which is fine. What got weird was the race play.
I'm not gagging.
I said, I don't remember this at all. The dialogue got real ridiculous. He's like, I pulled you because I'm that kind of nigga.
Wow.
You know what Desi said as a response to that? She's like, well, why can't I say it? My people invented the word.
Oh, girl, I know who you are. It's white girl. White girl. It's white girl. White girl. White girl. White girls. White girl. White girl. Miss Fancy Fingernail Shimmy Shimmy Lip Gloss Barbie.
And he's like, you better not think it, and you definitely better not say it. And I'm like, your people invented the word, so you should be able to say it? That was really weird. And he was still cool with that. Yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, girl, this is such a 2001 movie. Like, it's so 2001. O gets injured playing basketball on the court at a game, and everybody like freezes up and like, oh no, not our most precious black Negro that is bucking his behind up to getting us a championship. Oh yeah. So he goes to the hospital. He ends up being fine. And everybody's in the waiting room. And they were all there for him. And he's like, oh, y'all thought I was, down and out. I'm good. Desi goes over to give him a big hug. And everybody's like looking at them. Like Emily's looking at them in disgust. Of course, and Michael was cool with him. Michael was cool until we really got to learn how he felt. Honestly, everybody in this movie is fucked up. Everybody in this movie is fucked up except for, I would say O in a way, but O's a crash out dummy, so Yeah, but everybody pretty much in this movie is messed up. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, there's really not that many redeeming qualities in anybody in this film. You can just see the hate in Hugo's face. Like, he was brewing it. Oh my god. I'm like, nobody can tell this dude is kind of side-eyeing O at all. He ends up giving Desi this like rubber band and putting it on her engagement finger as a promise ring kind of thing. Like, one day I'm gonna marry you, you know, but in the meantime, here's my way of showing you affection by giving you a rubber band on a ring. Yeah. Hugo is such a demonic entity. This kid really relied on Roger's vulnerability of liking Desi and knowing that he would not have a chance with her by feeding him these ideas that like, oh no, you can definitely get Desi, but we gotta get rid of O. And Roger's like, I thought that was your friend. Like, and Hugo's like, not really. You know, we play basketball together and he's definitely in the way of me getting the attention that I deserve, whatever that means. Hugo comes up with his second idea of trying to get at O by having Roger get drunk and having Michael get drunk and having them two fight at each other. I guess Roger was trying to show out and get the attention of Desi by trying to be all boss-like, you know what I mean? Trying to be tough by trying to punk Michael out of all people. Like, Michael's the jock as well. Like, Michael's one of the jocks. And he really thought he could try to punk him in front of everybody. And he got punked back. And then Hugo gets into the middle of it. And he's like, oh, no. Cut it out, Roger. What are you doing? Even though he set him up to pretty much, like, start the fight just to get attention. So he acts like he didn't have no involvement with setting up that whole scheme. So Michael, O, and Hugo all get pretty much called into the office about the fight, and Coach Duke is like, oh, y'all really trying to ruin this? Like, what's going on? Michael got suspended for 2 games, and Hugo throws rocks and hides his hands the entire movie. Like, that's all he does is throw rocks and hides his hands, set up people by planting little bugs in people's ears to manipulate everybody. He was a good villain. I'll give you that. Hugo was a good fucking villain. Coach Duke was like, you pretty much you're jeopardizing O's ability to pretty much be in this school because of the fighting, because O broke up the fight. So he was technically involved. And the whole situation, he was involved, but he didn't cause anything. So he didn't get in trouble, of course, but it felt like Hugo really wanted him to. You know what I mean? Because, again, his dad is taking up for him by saying, y'all are jeopardizing this kid's ability to be here by fucking up the team. Hugo didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. Later on that night, Hugo and his parents are having dinner at the house, and Hugo looked like he was so hesitant to say this to his father, but he does say it. He's like, Hugo mentioned, would you have sat O down if he started the fight? And the dad's like, I'm eating right now. It continued eating. I said, I know that's right. Because why would you ask that question? Hugo gets Michael to get closer to Desi, even though they're already really good friends, but he wants it to be more apparent. Again, this is all a scheme on Hugo's part to get to O. And he knows O is going to be jealous, seeing how much he really cares about Desi. And Michael, being an MVP player that he personally chosen, he's going to feel slighted about that, right? He's going to be like, oh, I know you're not touching my girl because I literally gave you the other MVP and you're over here being a little bit too close to my girlfriend, knowing that we're all cool and stuff. So you can already tell where this is heading. And now we have Roger meeting up with Hugo, and he's like, you know what? This is not working out. All right. I got beat up twice in 1 week. I'm trying to get Desi, but it feels like the plans you have is not working. All right. And I'm about to just leave it alone. And Hugo can't have that. Hugo's like, oh, no, you have to do this. We have to set up O in order for you to get to Desi by pushing her away. Hugo didn't tell Michael that he told Roger to get rid of O because, again, Michael doesn't know that Hugo is trying to ruin O's reputation that early yet. He doesn't know yet. And Michael doesn't like Desi, you know what I mean? Like that. But they're still boys, you know, they're still immature boys that have the locker room talk and, like, you know, make up lies about women lying on their penises and, you know, Yeah. O starts to notice that Desi and Michael are a little bit too close. They're hanging a little bit too much even more now. O starts to be like really distant from Michael, and he doesn't know why. He genuinely doesn't know why. And instead of O being like, hey, right then and there, like, you know what? It looks like you and Desi are a little bit getting too close and it's making me uncomfortable. Of course he doesn't do that because he has an ego like most young men do in that age. They're like, oh, I'm just looking at you sideways and not just address the situation right then and there. So he walks past Michael, and Michael like asks him like, what's the problem? Hugo was like, oh, do you trust him? And he's like, yeah, why wouldn't I? And he's like, yeah, I don't know, man. You might want to look out for that. And then Hugo has the nerve to be like, oh yeah, well, I would be jealous, you know me, but I don't know, you may not be me, you may be stronger than I am, type of thing. He's like, if there is something going on, you know he's not just going to come out and come clean about it. So O and Desi have a trip that they're going on. I forget what the trip was about, but he's like, you and Mike never messed with each other before, right? Like y'all never hooked up or anything before you and I got together. And she's like, no. He's like my best friend, and Emily's like right after him. And he's like, oh, I thought I was like your best friend. And she's, you know, like, oh, you're being jealous. Desi thought it was innocent, and she's like, oh, you're just being jealous. It's all right. My poor baby's being jealous. Aw. And he's like dead serious. And she notices like, oh, you really mean that? Like, she's like, no, I would never do that. I would never mess with Michael in that manner at all, let alone cheat on you. And he's like, all right, well, let's just go. The camera pans to the floor of the scarf being on the floor. Emily sees, because Emily's always in the room. She's always around. Emily picks up the scarf, takes it. She gives it to Hugo. Emily gives that scarf to Hugo to do something with it. And I'm going to tell you what they do with it. He had her take it because he wanted to set up the scheme. He wanted to set up the plot. Emily gave Hugo the scarf that O gave Desi, which she thought was a prank. Now, remind you, Emily thought it was a prank of some sort to get O mad, you know, and to break up O and Desi, which is some hating type of stuff. But yeah, she wanted to do that. She knew the importance because she heard O talk about the importance of the scarf. And she's like, oh, okay, well, what are you even doing with it? They start having intercourse. He puts a scarf in Emily's mouth. I'm like, why would you put the scarf in that girl's mouth? Like, why would you do that? That is so gross. And 100-year-old scarf that's been all over the world, on the floor, in the crust, in the dust, in between the bedboards, around people's necks, on people's hairs. And he literally, Hugo takes the scarf. Like, they're doing some, like, play. Like, it was not kinky. It was nasty, okay? He puts the scarf gently in her mouth and rubbing it all over her face. Like, yeah, we're about to do some schemy stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like, what the hell? This is some sick, deranged stuff.
What the fuck? What's going on with this shit? Like, who the fuck?
Emily likes Hugo. And Hugo doesn't really care for Emily like that. So she wanted to do this for him so he can like her. And he knows that. And I'm like, girl, you are desperate. Stand up. Stand up. You stealing just to get some loving from a man that doesn't want you? How pathetic. And now you're going to be responsible. She's also responsible for what happens in the end. All of them are. I don't care what nobody says. All of them are responsible. Yeah, Hugo set it up, but they were all players in this game. You know what I mean? Shout out to Othello. Jesus. Desi and O gets intimate where she tells him to do anything that he wants with her.
You came back just in time. She's about to get it on with Shakespeare.
And by the way, Desi is a virgin. And they have their first time experience. And they're sitting in bed, and she's like, you can do whatever you want with me. You can have your way with me. I'm yours. You own this type of stuff, you know, which is, you don't want to say that. I get it. She's in the lust and the mindset of, you know, me being a virgin. I want you to have this as a gift, but then as a way of like, ownership in a way, you know, in a kinky and daring way, but at the same time it's like, girl, you don't want to say that because you're going to regret that. You are going to regret that. Never tell another person that you're theirs. No one owns you. You don't own anyone. You're no one's property. You should be able to walk away from a relationship when you feel the need to, and vice versa. No one owes you anything. No one owes you to stay in a relationship, and you don't owe anyone to stay in a relationship either. So the idea of like, even in the moment of heatness, you don't want to tell people that, because it's literally like a love spell. It's like a love bond. It's like bonding, So be careful with your words during intimacy, because it can be a little bit toxic. I hate that word, but it can be a little bit toxic. They start doing it, and he's getting a little bit too rough. And he's getting rough with her. And she's even telling him, like, hey, you need to relax, like, calm down. And she slowly starts to not have a good time with the experience, because he sees Michael in the mirror. He looks up, and there's a mirror, and he sees Michael's face, and he starts to get angry. It's like, typically, wouldn't it be the woman imagining the guy that she wants to be with in that moment? But him having that image of Michael while doing it with her, as if he's in her head, it was just a weird take. You get what I'm saying? But I get it. I get what they were trying to do in the film at that moment. But Hugo gives Michael the scarf. And then Hugo then goes to Owen's like, oh, do you still have that scarf, by the way, that your mom gave you? Because I think I seen Michael with it. So you know what that means. It means that Desi gave him the scarf, or that she had it in her possession while she was with Michael. He took it. Desi and Emily meet up together, and they're in their room. She tells Emily that O was a little bit too rough with her the other night when they did it. Emily's like, wait, did he sexually assault you? Did you say no? Because if you said no, it means no matter what the circumstances. And she's like, no, it wasn't like that. She chalked it up to just being that, which in my mind would be an indication that you shouldn't be sleeping with someone that roughens you up towards the end, because it looked like she didn't even enjoy herself when he released himself. It was too much. Emily was kind of right. Like, she was right on the money. Like, it sounds like he assaulted you, even though you think he didn't because you like him.
I don't think so.
Emily's like, you don't think he's a saint, do you? And I'm like, that's rich coming from your ass after what you just did with that scarf, okay?
Well.
You're not a saint either, girl. And she was like, well, would you feel the same way if he was white? And to be honest, I don't think she would. Desi tells O that Mike is looking for him, because the reason why O came to her dorm was to ask about the scarf. And he's like, do you still have that scarf, by the way, that I gave you? I haven't seen you wearing it or anything like that. And she's like, yeah, I have it. And he's like, okay, well, where is it? I want you to bring it out. I want you to wear it, whatever. She goes in her drawer and like pulls out her drawer, and it's not there.
You in danger, girl.
It's not there. Emily sees all this, by the way. Emily sees all this going down. Emily literally is like, oh, she'll find it. She'll find it when she can. Like, let it go. Why are you like punking her to find the scarf? And he's like, shut up and mind your business. Where's the scarf? Because Desi tells, she's like, oh, Michael was looking for you. And he's like, Michael? And she's like, yeah, Michael has been looking for you. Remember, they don't know that he thinks that they're doing it, like that they're together, which they're not. She's genuinely like, oh, Michael's looking for you. He's thinking like, oh, so you really hanging out with Michael like that? Like, oh, so it must be true. Like, the kid starts to crash out. Because he's like, how come you never wear that scarf I gave you? Because it's ugly.
Don't act shocked.
Okay? Because the goddamn scarf is ugly. And she can't wear it with every fucking outfit. Number one, you should have never gave it to her. And number two, for you to like try to tell her to wear it, like, that's what I mean. Like, he was becoming possessive. He was becoming possessive. Desi is like, I'm always straight with you, oh. I'm always straight with you. You know I would never do that. You know I would never go behind your back and give myself up to somebody. When I tell you, O said the most like disgusting things that would have ended the relationship for me with him. And then O's like, oh, well, you should have seen her the other night, talking about it's yours and yours. How do I know you're not easy? You know what they say about these girls, da 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 da. And I'm sitting here like, dude.
Ain't no way.
you really are fucking crashing out over what another guy told you about your girl. Like, think about it. You don't think he's jealous of you? You don't think that Hugo is jealous of you? The whole time I'm sitting here like, you gotta be kidding me. Hugo put in O's head that white girls are easy and that they'll just give it up to anybody. And you should know that, man. You should know that. I'm telling you as a white guy, these girls are easy, man. You can't trust these girls, man. And I'm like, wow. Not pulling a race card that white girls are easy, which is a stereotype. I know it's fucking horrible, but it's a stereotype, right? So Hugo sat with his dad, and his dad asked Hugo what's wrong with O. And he's like, I don't got to worry about that with you, son. Like, you're my son. I don't have to worry about you, but I worry about O because he's a black guy in a white predominant school who has a troubled background, and he's trying to get on the right path, and I want to help him. And it makes our team better. He's a good player. So the coach gets something out of it too. He wants to win these games. He wants to be a good coach. But also he sees on a moral side of my MVP has some disparages that I want to keep at bay. I'm sorry, son, but you got to understand that this is bigger than you. O buys Coke off of our buddy. So it's like a slam dunking contest that O pretty much destroys and breaks the glass in the rim because he's off that cocaine. And then he grabs the basketball and like throws it at the glass and shatters it even more and like storms off. Everybody's like, what the hell? Hugo and O meets up at Hugo's room, and Hugo has like a balcony of some sort. He tells O basically what the plan is, which is to kill Desi. Like, he's literally plotting a murder. Like, he's plotting a murder.
You are going to jail! Period!
Hugo and O are sniffing cocaine. Emily tells Hugo everything. Like, she tells him about O and Desi's conversations in bed when it comes to that race play situation. Remember, she was in the room. And she talks about the scarf and how important it is to O. So Hugo has all this information because of Emily. And Hugo brings it to O by saying, yeah, and he told me that, you know, she likes it a certain way, that they like to lay in bed with each other but not do anything. They just like to sleep topless and be skin to skin type of contact. And that's what O and Desi does. So he's like, there's no way that he would know that unless Desi actually is hanging around with Michael and doing all these things. But he doesn't put together that Emily is also in the room when these things happen and couldn't have possibly told Hugo about it, because Hugo and Emily aren't physically in like public together. They're not like together. So a lot of people don't know about them, you know, meeting up with each other behind closed doors. He's feeding all this to O, and you can see O's like brain is spinning. It's doing cartwheels, and he's getting hot. He's getting mad because there's no other way. That finalized it. That put the nail in the coffin for O to pretty much handle business in a way that shouldn't have been handled, basically. Hugo tells O to stay on the porch as he invites Mike in, and Hugo has O listening to their conversation so that he can set Mike up with the scarf by handing it to him. Mike's girlfriend, Michael has a girlfriend, by the way, and she's walking all across the dorms and like looking for him, and because she finds the scarf, so she's thinking that Michael is cheating. So she goes to Hugo's dorm, knocks on the door. Michael and Hugo answers it, and she hands him the scarf and was like, here, like, I can't believe you cheated on me. O hears all this in the background. He sees the mirror reflection of her handing him the actual scarf. So it's all come together. Like, the plan is coming together, and oh my God. I don't know. It's too late for this. Like, it's too late now. Like, it's already planned. Like, it already looks like what it looks like. And Michael was talking cash money crap about O and called him the N-word, by the way. He's like, yeah, after that whole situation with him breaking the glass and storming off, yeah, F that. And then he lied on Desi. Michael lied on Desi, which kind of, again, more nails in the coffin. He was like, yeah, she's easy. She wanted to do it in the library or something. I'm like, why are you lying?
You're stupid. You're not smart. You're not smart.
And O hears this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not going to end well, and it doesn't. He's like, all right, we're going to the game tonight. I'll pick you up, and we'll grab some drinks and head to the game. So Michael leaves, and O comes out, and Hugo and O pretty much makes their plan. I'm gonna get him drunk. We're gonna have some drinks at his dorm. And I'm going to grab the glasses because it's going to have his DNA on it. And I'm going to set them and I'm going to give it to you so you can put them in Desi's room as if them two were drinking. And he, kills Desi. And he has Roger involved, pretty much shooting Michael. Oh, God, it's so bad. Roger sets up the whole scheme so that Roger can shoot Michael to make it look like Michael committed suicide after Michael did what he did to Desi because he wouldn't be able to handle it, and he didn't want to go to prison and disappoint his family, so he just killed himself in the street, by the way, in his car. Not at the dorm after he kills her and realizes, oh, what did I do? He would have just killed himself right in there, but they didn't think it through. Go to the game like nothing happened, okay? If things go accordingly, Michael and Hugo are going to drive, and they're going to stop for Roger, who broke down, but they don't know that Michael doesn't know the whole plan. So Michael is in the car with Hugo, and they're driving to the game, but he doesn't know that he's about to be set up to be killed either by Hugo. Roger is in the car parked on the side of the road as if something is wrong with him. And Hugo gets out. He's like, oh, we got to check on this person. Hugo and Michael gets out, and Hugo pushes Michael to the driver's window where turns around and don't shoot him immediately, by the way. He gets out of the car with the gun pointing at Michael and is talking, and Hugo's like, shoot him, what are you doing, shoot him. So Roger shoots him in the leg. You can't commit suicide if you shoot yourself in the leg, now can you? I mean, you can, but typically when people take themselves out, they don't shoot themselves in the leg. It's either in the head or in the chest, you know what I mean, center mass. This guy literally shot him in the leg. He's like, oh no, I messed up. Yeah, you did. So Hugo's like, oh, well, if he survives, which he is, because if you shoot him twice, it's going to look like a homicide either way. I'm going down, so I'm going to take you down. Hugo shoots and kills Roger. A car comes, and it's one of the girls from the school, and she's freaking out. He's like, help. Roger shot Michael. Help. She doesn't believe him or what, but she freaks out, and she gets in the car and goes and get help. Back at the dorms, O goes to see Desi, and of course, this is when everything gets messed up. O goes over there to Desi's dorm, and he pretty much goes there under the impression that he's going to apologize for treating her weird lately about accusing her of being with Michael. So she disarms herself, right? She's like, okay. They start to make out, and he then proceeds to put his hands around her throat and strangles her until she's no longer alive. And when I tell you that scene alone was so brutal, I even remember watching it when I first seen it as a kid. I'm like, well, they're really showing this. Typically when someone gets strangled, they don't show it in that way. It was very realistic. It was the amount of how long it took for him to do that. I know it was in a movie, but it took him some minutes. And to look someone in the face, to strangle them that way for that long period of time, knowing that you're taking their life out really, really slow, is one of the most horrific things I've probably seen in a movie. Emily comes in the room. She's like, what did you do? And Hugo comes, and he comes in the room, and she's like, tell him what you did. People come in the room and they're all screaming. There's people in the room now. It's not just Emily. It's not just Michael. There's two people, and they're like, what the hell is going on? Oh, pretty much says she cheated on me. And Emily is like, no, Hugo, tell him what you did. Tell him the plan. Tell him the fact that you had the scarf. Tell him that she did not cheat on with Michael, and he's like, shut up, Emily, shut up. And she's like, no. And she's telling it all. And O is like in disbelief, because that's when he realized, like, oh shit, he set me up. Like, this was all a lie. I just killed her for no reason. You know what Hugo does? He shoots and kills Emily. Like,
you are stupid. You're not smart. You're not smart.
He shoots and kills Emily in front of everybody. Crash out number 2, okay? The police gets called, of course. O is crashing out. He's crying. He approaches Hugo. He's like, tell me this is not true. Tell me this is not true. And Hugo was like, I'm not saying nothing else from this point on.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And walks away. I'm like, God damn. Imagine someone saying, I ain't talking to you moving forward. I am not saying nothing else. After he did all of that. That's some nasty work. O was like in disbelief. Yo, you really leaving me hanging after you did all this to me? Yeah, he is. Because he don't like you. He wanted that. His plan worked. O walks out with a gun in his hand. He's yelling. The police are there. They have their guns drawn, and they're like, put the gun down. And there are people that are terrified, witnesses and stuff, and they're like hiding out. He yells. This part is really, really sad. He's like, make sure you tell them about what happened tonight. Tell them the real story. Tell them that I was no drug dealer. I wasn't this bad kid. I wasn't this bad kid that people made me seem to be. It was him. It was Hugo that made me do it. Tell the real story. And then he kills himself. And then Coach gets the news while the game is going on, and he runs out of the game. And yeah, the conclusion, the end of the movie is where everybody pretty much feels the aftermath. Emily is gone. Roger is gone. O is gone. Michael potentially, I don't know if he made it. I think he made it, right? He was shot in the leg and he didn't get shot again. So, Desi's gone. Hugo's life is over. The parents, I know they're a mess, especially the Coach Duke. He lost everybody, basically. I mean, I don't know how you can recover after that. But, yeah, O was a crash out because he had a purpose, and his purpose was to thrive. His purpose was to be an MVP player. He made it out until he let love and lust, because that wasn't love. He thought it was love, but that was lust, And this is why, like, it can be dangerous when people are so codependent on other people, and when people have this, like, thing set up in their heads where they're like, I have to be with this person, and if I'm not with this person, I have no life. No, you do have a life. You do. You have your own identity, and the other person has their own identity. And when you two get together, it's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be toxic and filled with jealousy and anger and bitterness and lack of communication. And again, all of this was caused by jealousy, but also it could have been prevented if people communicated and had good intentions. Emily didn't have good intentions. Roger didn't have good intentions. Desi had good intentions, but she became a victim of it. Literally, she became a victim of having good intentions. And unfortunately, she was set up by Hugo, and because Hugo knew how much O cared about her, so he had to take her out, which would then take O out. And it's messed up, like how many lives Hugo really ruined. And I promise you, he's not going to be prosecuted for most of that because his dad is a coach, O's legacy will be just that. He killed a white girl and crashed out over love by believing the coach's son. O was going down anyways, for murder. But Hugo didn't have to go down at all if he didn't kill and shoot Emily. Like, you could have just taken the heat and would have been like, yeah, I set all this up. He would have went to prison for conspiracy or something like that. Because again, like, people died. He killed Roger, but I don't know if he would have had... He probably would have been caught if he... I don't know, because he killed Roger and he killed Emily. But no one's seen him kill Roger. Because I don't think Michael was, alert at that point. I think he passed out from being shot in the leg. So, yeah. I feel like at that point, like, for you to take out Emily was stupid. Like, that was dumb. But yeah, that was, what a sad story. And I feel like this can easily be based on a true story, right? I'm pretty sure stories like this has happened. Not so much directly the same, but like people being set up, jealousy, envy, rumors leading up to murder and suicides and stuff like that in schools, which is terrible. Yeah, it always amazed me high schoolers and people in college are capable of like doing such horrific things like that. I mean, wow. That was insane. But don't crash out over others. Don't, even if you might really genuinely love someone, it's no reason to take their life, because they either cheated on you or went behind your back and gave an heirloom to someone else. None of that was a reason to crash out the way he did. And especially strangling someone to death. My goodness. That should have been reserved for Hugo, to be honest with you. He should have did that to Hugo. But if only Emily would have came in like moments before that or was even in the room, I don't think O would have been able, obviously, to do it. Hugo would have came rushing in thinking that he was doing it and they would have been able to tell the whole story. But then again, Emily probably would have been shot and killed by Hugo no matter what, even if Desi survived and wasn't even harmed. Either way you play it, Hugo was not getting out of that situation without repercussions at all. Yeah, that's the adaptation of Othello. I love the words, the names, how they played on that. Oh, Odin. Yeah, Odin, man, rest in peace, dog. You didn't deserve to go out like that, but you did. You shouldn't have gone out like that, but you did. And that's your legacy, bro. Crash out. But yeah, that's it. Smiley said it. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I look forward to it. So, peace.